You guys might be wondering what happened to the red Retron 3 I had. Well, apparently we found out that that one was broken. And next time, we're not going to buy. We gotta be careful what we buy, actually. So, let me just turn on the TV. Remember my review on the Super Game Boy on TheClayberry 64? So I brought these games with me. Well, actually, ever since I was a kid, I had tons of Game Boy. Wow. Thinking about it, it's been really long. When I was talking about the Super Game Boy, there was one game that I was supposed to talk about, but I never actually brought it. So today, we're talking about our very first Game Boy game, the Anime Madness, Nintendo's 90 Moments, Kirby. Although this cartridge is a little bit damaged, but still works. So, I know I would try to play it on my Game Boy Color, but instead, let's do it on the Super Game Boy. You know, because this one will be more colorful. Just to let you all know. And now we actually get to talk about the very first Game Boy game to be reviewed on this series. Kirby's Dream Land is one game, but it's a really fun game. If you're used to the retro games, Kirby would be one of the recommendations if you want to try out something. I would really give you guys Kirby. I like how Kirby is like walking and dancing, taunting, and doing all that in the very beginning. It's really a nice detailed intro, if you know what I mean, for all of you retro fans. The first level is called Green Greens because, you know, well, actually, it's really nice to see some catchy names and you get to see an intro on what Kirby is doing. The game is a 2D side-scroller, similar to Mario, Donkey Kong, but Kirby is a little more different. Kirby has the ability to fly and swallow, which is really pretty cool to see that. I mean, when I was a kid, I mostly played this game. It was like my number one favorite Game Boy game. And yet I still play the game. There are also mini-bosses in this game, so it's really fun, and you get to see how it is. But while you're fighting, you actually still have to fight the actual boss. So in all the stages, sometimes they have a mini boss, sometimes they won't have a mini boss. Our very first boss is actually a tree boss. Now, I never actually got used to the names, so when I was a kid, I actually used to call Kirby Marshmallow Man, you know, because he's pink and he's fun. But anyway, in order to beat the very first boss, you need to make sure that the apples fall down, so that way he could actually be beaten, and eventually it will be the time to continue on to the next level. Also, Kirby will start dancing. The next stage is called Castle Lololo. Well, to be fair, this one is now you get to enter in a castle. Here's something that might be interesting. There's a microphone right now, and if Kirby swallows it and spits it out, it can actually wipe out anything. I'm not even joking. The game gets a little bit harder every time you're playing the game, so it would be much more. So basically, the beginning is that you go easy, and then later on, it gets harder and harder. Kirby can also swallow bombs and can actually wipe out anything. I mean, imagine Kirby wipe out an entire house with just one small bomb. The box has always made me feel confused that I thought I was playing a Mario game and realized that I was actually playing Kirby, which is really confusing. Some mini-bosses are actually the same bosses, it's just that they're like, oh, hey, we're gonna fight you. And then later on, after you beat him, it's like, okay, we went easy on you. We'll take our revenge back. there are a lot of interesting items that Kirby could actually use. Well, it's pretty interesting, you just gotta find it. One of the items that I remember that Kirby used was one item where he shot out air and would wipe out any roped bad guy. And it was pretty cool to see that because Kirby was amazing. I think it was Curry or something, but see, back in the days it was really hard to tell what kind of item would look like since most video games back in the days were all 8-bit. Most of the time, whenever I'm playing this game, I make my own garden, so it would also be obvious that getting to the next boss. Now, be careful with those spiky dudes with the eyeballs. They could actually kill you faster. So now continuing on, we're now at the boss. Now this is interesting because in the mini boss, it was just like one character, and now it's two, so now it's like, oh, Kirby, now I'm back, but I brought my brother with me, or sister. It's weird that seeing that the entire Kirby doesn't dance in where it is, but rather than Kirby dances in another stage. Yeah, I actually kind of find that really weird. Well, probably when I was a kid, but not anymore. Stage 3 is Float's Island, and I really like how Kirby is when he's fishing, and then later on he gets that fish hook stuck on his mouth. In this stage, you guessed it, they have sea animals that Kirby will fight. Now, it's really interesting. It would make a lot of sense. Each stage has their own bad guys, but depending what it is, wouldn't be the same. It wouldn't be like Mario using Koopas and Goombas at the same as the original Super Mario Bros. Or even the Hammer Bros at the way. When Kirby is on water, you could actually, well, basically it's going back up, it's jumping, but it's actually swimming, according from what I was doing back then. And to be fair, it was pretty nice to see that. In this stage, there's no mini-boss, you just go swoosh, that's about it. It's all like that, and it would be simple as that. It's just easy and just always. You know, now it's on to the next boss. Our next boss is actually I think it's a canyon on a balloon, but it has a longer health bar, not like the other ones that have the short ones. But it seems really nice that Kirby would kill it with its breath. Dance, Kirby's! Hurry! Dance to entertain people because I'm running out of lines. Stage 4 is Bubbly Clouds. Now this is where everything gets much more difficult. Supposedly that the game is almost to its end, so there are only 5 stages, by the way. All the bad guys here gets a little faster, if you know what I mean, but it would also be really hard for this kind of situation when you're trying to get to the actual boss. Did those things explode? Oh, right. So you gotta be careful with these orange ones. If you try to swallow it, they'll try to murder you. I'm gonna swallow these faces things and... oh wow, look at that. Look, I just let my entire guard down. See, that's what happened. See, sometimes... see, here's a tip. Don't ever swallow a bad guy if you're gonna kill yourself. Yeah, the entire stage is all just filled with clouds, so... yeah, that's about it. So, but we're about to reach up to the 4th boss. Now we're on to the mini-boss, which, goes back to like the one who threw the bomb in green in order to I guess, you know, like I said, they go easy on you. In order to kill this guy, you need to make sure that you spit out all the bad guys that he's spitting out of his eye. Now the interesting part is that once you get to this warp star, you actually go to space, which is really amazing. And you get to explore around over there. I think I got a turkey leg and now I'm shooting air again, similar to how it was like the other one. But this time I have unlimited and I can't go back to normal and I have to keep on flying. In order to get to the boss, I have to fly all the way up in order to continue where I left off. Actually, it's more like go up and meet the boss. So you just realize that the boss is the same one, but this time he's more infuriated and he becomes more of a electrical lightning cloud with an eyeball and he will actually attack you, and he's actually pretty hard because when I was a kid, I died and that's multiple times, and now I'm actually able to take him down. In this one, you gotta time it right, everything right. Time where he attacks, time how to dodge it, and also shoot out the bad guys that comes out of his eye, because he'll keep on doing it. And almost there, yeah! So we actually now took it down. Kirby, would you do the honors of dancing for us? And now we're at the very last stage and also going to meet up the very final boss. The stage is called Mount DDD, so now this is much more interesting of the game. You have to re-fight all 4 bosses and take down King DDD. Now, if you're all aware, that kind of reminds me so much to Mega Man, where you fight 8 bosses and go to the final boss, Dr. Wily. So after you take down all 4, you enter to King DDD, and what you're gonna see right now is, you guessed it, it's a boxing stage. Although it's really interesting to see that you get to fight King DDD, even though he's actually really tough in this game. King DDD will start charging at you, he'll actually pull out his hammer, even jump as you just saw that. But he gets, even though he's as a final boss, he has a long life bar, and that is one thing that really surprised me so much. He'll swallow you, but the only thing that's different is that when King DDD swallows you, he'll spit you out, which will take damage, and like Kirby, when you swallow something, you eat it. King DDD has a lot of tricks up in his sleeve, so if you ever play this game and try to make it to the final boss, just a tip, make sure to dodge. Interesting though is that Sakurai had originally wanted Kirby to be pink as the Kirby we see right now, but Miyamoto refused it and wanted to have it yellow, but there was a result and Kirby became pink. I like how he has that picture of his in the background, like it's like, hey, I'm giving you a piece, player. Get it? Peace. Alright, I'm gonna fast forward this for a moment because this is really hard and it's not really going easy as I thought it would. You wanna go, King DDD? You wanna go? You wanna go? I bet you that I could actually wipe you out before I die. Come on, come on, bring it on, bring it on. There we go. We finally took down King DDD. Wow, I could see the castle. Oh, he's blasting off again. Kirby, dance again. Keep on dancing. You are a dancing pink character. At the very end, you actually finally beat King DDD, and also you're taking the castle, which is Kirby's now more of a hot air balloon. You know, it kind of looks like one of those hot air balloon designs. Imagine that actually does exist. Would you really want to go up there? I mean, it would be really interesting. If I had played this in the original Game Boy Color, Kirby is actually black and white. If I played in the original Game Boy Color, I mean not the Game Boy Color, I mean the original Game Boy. The soundtrack of this entire game is amazing. Even though it's a Game Boy game, it's really awesome to see and finally talk about one of the games I grew up with. And also, it's actually my third favorite Game Boy game. There is a hard mode in this game, but it's not easy to beat, and I don't really want to record that, and I didn't have time, so I'm just explaining you that. I hope you guys enjoyed the very first review of the Game Boy era, known as Kirby, and I would, now if you excuse me, I gotta get back to my adventures with the monkeys. So, bye bye, and catch you guys later.